Welcome back to another episode of Sunshine and Square Feet. Today we're putting on our golf shoes, maybe, and diving into a place that is, well, it's probably the most famous and I think most polarized retirement community in America. We are talking about the Villages, Florida. And this community is just massive. And depending on who you talk to, it's either the greatest life change they ever made,
Well,
or
it's the place they couldn't wait to escape.
exactly.
It's true. Our research shows that the Villages gets described in these really binary terms. It's either this Disney-esque utopia of constant fun, or it's a kind of Stepford Wives bubble.
Where conformity is key.
Exactly. Conformity is absolutely central to life there.
And the interesting thing is it really is both.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to dig into the sociology of this mega community. We want to uncover the exact personality traits, the logistical expectation that determine who absolutely soars in the Villages, who finds their paradise, and who, ends up making that infamous back move.
The back move,
Yeah.
packing up the U-Haul and heading right back home.
Within a year or two, yeah.
And this analysis is crucial because this move, it's often about adopting a whole new identity, not just a new mailing address. So if you're considering this lifestyle, or you're just curious why it generates such, intense devotion and intense frustration,
Yeah.
understanding your personal preferences before you move is really the only secret to happiness there.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Just how big are we talking?
You really have to appreciate the scale. The Villages, it's not a gated community. It's practically a small country. It's a census-designated place, a CDP, and it covers roughly 32 square miles.
32 square miles.
And it houses about 150,000 people. It's entirely master planned around one single demographic, the active adult.
And that age restriction is, it's codified, right, under the Housing Older Persons Act, or HOP.
That's right. So 80% of the homes have to have at least one resident who is 55 or older. It's an intentionally age-segregated, purpose-built bubble.
It's fascinating, though, the kind of demographic that this structure seems to attract. Our research pointed out something I found really surprising.
The veterans.
The veterans. The Villages home to the largest population of military veterans outside of active U.S. military bases. A staggering 16.3% of the population.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that statistic alone tells you something about the kind of resident who is drawn here, right? A population that historically thrives under clear structure, community expectations.
A defined set of rules.
A defined set of rules. That's a powerful insight.
It is. And that structure is really the core conflict here. Our research shows that when people leave, the reasons are almost never the obvious ones. It's not the quality of the homes or even the cost.
So what is it?
It is almost always a fundamental lifestyle mismatch. They discover they bought into a reality that demands a level of community engagement and order that they just don't want.
So it's not the sun or the palm trees that drive them away. It's the realization that their definition of a perfect retirement, say, one filled with solitude and quiet reflection, is completely incompatible with a community built for constant activity.
Precisely. Happiness there hinges on whether you crave that organized community life or if you prefer rugged independence and silence.
Okay, so let's talk about the Frivers first. I feel like if they have a bumper sticker, it's that classic line you always hear, "I'm busier now than when I worked."
That's it, exactly. These people don't just live the lifestyle.
Yeah.
They consume it.
So what's that personality type?
We call this the camp kid personality. If you have, really fond memories of summer camp, the scheduled activities, the required socializing, that feeling of always being busy,
Yeah.
then the Village is literally a luxurious year-round summer camp for adults.
And the scale is just mind-boggling. We're not talking about like a handful of activities.
No.
Happiness there correlates directly with how full your calendar is. Our sources list over 3,000 social clubs.
3,000. If you want to join a dragon boating team, learn French, or discuss, the nuances of stamp collecting, there is a group waiting for you, a competitive group, often.
These are the planners and the joiners.
Yes. They're often extreme extroverts who get a sense of immense daily purpose from managing a demanding and often competitive schedule.
Wait, I have to stop you there. Competitive planning. How does securing a tea time become a source of satisfaction?
That's a great question. It's about status. It's about mastery within the community structure. And it's not just golf. It's the strategy involved in logging on at exactly the right second to get that prime morning tea time before thousands of other people do.
Oh, wow.
The reward isn't just playing the game. The reward is winning the booking. And the same goes for snagging prime dinner reservations or theater tickets. The thrivers feel a sense of achievement just by navigating the system.
So the system actively rewards that organizer personality. That makes a lot of sense. And then you have the reinventor, right? The second act star.
Absolutely. Retirement here is permission to shed your professional identity. The corporate CEO, the dedicated teacher, and you can try something completely new.
Like what?
The former accountant finally joins a rock band. The retired nurse becomes a watercolor artist who teaches classes.
It's a low judgment environment because everybody's doing it. There's a high tolerance for people who are, for lack of a better term, um, dating for new friends.
Dating for friends, that's a great way to put it. They're actively putting themselves out there, joining clubs, taking classes, because that social capital is everything.
And this all feeds into the whole golf cart commuter philosophy.
It does. For thrivers, the golf cart is not just a buggy. It's a symbol of this slower, highly connected way of life. They enjoy the mandatory wave greeting, the infrastructure that lets them just glide between the grocery store, the bank, the doctor. It's a joyful, manageable kind of slowness.
So if you're someone who appreciates structure, wants to be busy 16 hours a day, and you like rules that guarantee a clean, ordered, and safe environment, you found paradise. You are the rule appreciator.
You're trading rugged independence for predictable peace.
Okay, so now let's flip it. Let's talk about the attrition rate. The people who realize they've made a terrible mistake.
Right. The lifestyle mismatch that triggers the back move.
And the single most common reason for that U-Haul heading back north is, surprisingly, emotional. It's the intergenerational seeker, or what our research called the kid-sick grandparent.
That's the most common heartbreak. Their previous happiness came entirely from, regular involvement with their children and grandkids.
Soccer games, the school plays.
Sunday dinners, all of it. They quickly find that the age-restricted bubble is isolating. It's unnerving for them. They can go weeks without seeing a stroller or a teenager.
Wow.
And for them, that separation from the flow of real life feels profoundly unnatural and painful. They value family proximity over all the amenities.
Then you have the opposite problem, the lover of true solitude.
Yes. These folks are shocked by the density. They move, expecting peace and quiet. But the homes are built very close together, and true silence is, well, it's impossible to find.
So you're always going to hear your neighbor.
If you need vast amounts of unmanaged nature and quiet, the Villages is acoustic and visual frustration. The nature there is highly managed. Manicured lawns, manicured trees. You will inevitably hear your neighbor's dog barking, their air conditioner kicking on.
Their conversation on their lanai.
Exactly.
I can't imagine moving to paradise only to find out the biggest challenge is your ability to truly customize your own home. What does the research say about the nonconformist, the individualist?
They struggle immensely. The individualist is the person who fundamentally chafes under strict homeowners association, or HOA, guidelines, and deed restrictions. They want freedom, but the community demands visual conformity.
So give us an example. What are the specific rules that break these residents?
It's the inability to customize the look of your home. You can't paint your house a custom color outside the approved palette. You can't create a wild permaculture yard. The lawns have to be manicured. And a huge one is vehicle storage.
Oh, interesting.
Rules often prohibit overnight street parking, or parking an RV, or even sometimes a work truck in your own driveway. If you want to express your personality through your home, this system will, well, it will restrict you at every turn.
And finally, we have to touch on the political outlier. Our research notes that, while we remain impartial, we have to report that the Villages is a massive, highly visible, conservative stronghold.
Right. And while the community is generally welcoming, the sheer density of political flags, the active club affiliations, these massive golf cart rallies celebrating one particular political viewpoint, it can make those leaning left, or even those just seeking political silence, feel deeply isolated.
Like a true outsider in your own neighborhood.
Exactly.
Okay, so beyond those internal personality conflicts, there are logistical realities that catch people off guard. First, the pace.
Yes, the pace struggle. Many people move expecting to slow down. The reality is that the Villages is a high-energy community that can feel quite aggressive.
That sounds exhausting. Where does this high-octane retirement manifest itself?
Everywhere. You have extremely aggressive traffic circles, the roundabouts, which confuse and stress slower-paced drivers. The pickleball courts are super competitive and intense. Even the grocery stores feel perpetually packed.
So if you really wanted a quiet, relaxed life.
This persistent, high-energy environment just creates chronic, low-level stress.
And let's talk money, the budgetary struggle. If this place is marketed as affordable, where is the money actually disappearing for people on a fixed income?
It's the hidden lifestyle tax. The price for the home might seem manageable, but many are surprised by mandatory fees that just stack up. The amenity fee alone can be close to $200 a month.
And that's just to maintain everything.
That's just for the shared infrastructure. Then you add in golf cart maintenance, increasing club dues, frequent dining costs, and the pressure of keeping up with the Joneses.
That social pressure must be brutal if you're watching every penny. You feel like you have to buy the newest golf cart or remodel your lanai.
Or go out to dinner just to maintain your social standing.
Yeah.
And if you are budget conscious, you struggle because you are paying mandatory fees that cover 3,000 clubs you never even use just to live there. Your fixed income gets stretched by mandatory luxury consumption.
Let's move on to healthcare. This is a critical point, considering the age of the residents. Despite being built for older adults, the community lacks, the highest level of specialized medical care?
That's absolutely correct. If you need major surgery or serious specialized treatments like advanced cancer care, the village just doesn't have the necessary major hospitals.
So where do they go?
Residents typically have to commute 2 hours or more to get to specialized medical centers in larger cities like Orlando or Gainesville.
Yeah.
And that's a massive burden when you're dealing with a serious health issue.
And we can't ignore the elements. While the weather isn't the main reason for the back move, a lot of people are completely unprepared for a Florida summer.
They really are. The high heat, the humidity, and maybe worst of all, the pests. The mosquitoes, the no-see-ums.
And the infamous flying palmetto bugs.
A daily fight that nobody mentions in the sales brochure.
Definitely not.
And finally, we should touch on the broader financial structure, which our research flagged as a long-term risk. The developer used a strategy of low-density development coupled with low developer fees.
What's the implication of that? Why should someone living there care about the municipal structure?
Because it means that this massive, sprawling community often does not pay for itself through the usual tax and fee revenue. All that infrastructure, the roads, the rec centers, is expensive to maintain. And that structure risks creating long-term municipal debt issues that residents may eventually have to confront through, significant fee or tax increases.
So we've covered the personality types that thrive and those who crumble. Our analysis leads to a pretty clear summary, I think.
It does. The Village is excellent if you crave an incredibly high level of structure, constant social interaction, you enjoy the golf cart lifestyle, and you prioritize safety and order above all else. You have to be a planner, a joiner, and a rule appreciator.
However, you will struggle immensely if you need true solitude, if you want to customize your home, or if intergenerational contact, seeing children and teens as part of daily life is central to your happiness. You have to know myself.
Yes. The verdict is that moving here is less about the property and more about embracing a specific, highly structured identity. And if that identity is mismatched, the system will effectively reject you. It forces the back move.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you to consider, building on that structural analysis. Our research notes that the Village's colossal success relied heavily on that massive wave of the 55-plus population, the baby boomers.
Right. But that age pyramid is expected to peak and potentially begin declining as a proportion of the population around the year 2040.
So if the consumer base for this specific luxury summer camp lifestyle starts to shrink, what happens?
What happens to this vast low-density housing stock? When the houses get older, the infrastructure costs mount, and the influx of new active retirees slows. What will the Villages have to reinvent next to maintain its appeal and solve its underlying financial structure?
Thank you for listening to Sunshine in Square Feet, and we'll see you on the next one.